Go.
Hello, welcome to Collateral Impact. My name is Otis Courtney, and I want to invite you to join me on my world of introspection. Um, People, places, and things have affected my life, and that's what I want to share with you today. First of all, I make no claims to being a linguist or a poet or even a skilled writer. However, I do enjoy playing with words, and so some of my writings convey the feelings that I have. So I like to use words that best convey what I'm feeling at the time. The adventure began with a casual discussion with my friend Sunil, who suggested I should share my thoughts more publicly. And I hesitated at first, but then I thought, well, I'm always listening to everyone else's view, so why not put my own out there? And I might add, you might think of doing the same thing. Um, Sunil said some of the things you say have impact. And I said, yeah, that makes sense. So when I looked up the word impact, it said the influence or effect of something. And I didn't think that would stand alone because you never know who's going to be impacted or how they're going to be impacted. So I added the word collateral, which means anything incidental to an activity. And my hope is by communicating my belief that nothing happens in isolation. We're all connected in some way or another. We're all connected. I'll be sharing my thoughts in my writings as well as some scriptural references, maybe some controversial subjects. And also, I'm going to include some guest appearances for people who have a background in education and politics, but whatever the subject might happen to be. But I want to make something very clear. I'm embarking on this endeavor. Uh, my purpose is to share my perspective, not to challenge anyone else's or to change anyone else's point of view. And this is best illustrated by this 6 and 9 cartoon that I have. And but I welcome your comments, your questions, and I'll respond to as many as I can. And because I believe your thoughts and your impressions are as valuable as mine. All being said, I will begin by reading a piece that I wrote uh, because I saw life as unfolding, sort of like a flip book, where you flip the pages, it gives you the impression that something is moving when actually it's only one page at a time unfolding. And I titled that piece, The Speed of Life. I began to write this piece partly because of my observation of how my life is moving at such a seemingly accelerated pace, and partly because of my fascination with speed. I soon began to realize it was not only my life that was moving with rapidity, it's life itself. Every event I've ever experienced was in the context of everything in everyone else's life moving at the same speed. Each thought represents an instant in time that no longer exists but is forever captured and fixed in my memory bank of timeless images. People, places, and things never age in my menagerie of selected mental recollections. I liken this journey to a sprint that begins at conception, and with a spark of divine energy, the race begins. As with any human endeavor, it takes time to get one's bearing and realize that the environment of preconception is no longer an option. Kicking and streaming, one gets into the starting blocks and has to take his place with all the other world's entrants. The incredulity of speed of life is that instead of starting fast and slowing down, although physically and mentally this may be the case, in actuality, it begins to speed up as it roars towards its end. Things I may recall that seem like yesterday may have happened 10 or even 50 years ago. That is part of the mystery of speed. It's moving with such rapidity in the context of time and space, while left in its wake are the events of life that remain static in one's memory. In the early part of the race, everything is new, fresh, effortless. Nothing is of particular interest to observe along the way. especially the speed at which they are occurring. Oblivious to the circumscribed amount of time one has to perform in this race of life, and with few reminders of that speed can only be recognized when compared to its surrounding, the tendency is to be lulled into complacency by the monotony of one's physical and mental environment. With the early recognition of the impact of speed, one's journey through life may be traversed without urgency, only to find out, to use another sports metaphor, you're in the fourth quarter and there's little time left on the clock. However, if one is open to wise counsel, it is possible to be made aware of the speed and therefore to maximize the quality of choices made during this extraordinary once-in-a-lifetime experience of human existence. The spiritual dimension of this journey is not inconsequential, and to trivialize it is like trying to navigate a ship without a rudder. Spirituality is a constant companion, whether or not it is acknowledged. Just the air we breathe does not intrude to our conscious thought processes, and that we would cease to exist without it. So it is with us in the spiritual realm. Our human spirit derives and manifests the essence of our being. The awareness of these vital yet unobtrusive forces require conscious effort to recognize one's inability to traverse life journey without acknowledging the powerful influence of the speed, time, space, and spirituality as we race toward our ultimate eternity.